And a recent decision by an Australian winemaker has upset a number of ag producers. Yellowtail Wine donated $100,000 to the Humane Society of the United States, an animal rights advocacy group. But a number of producers and ranchers say the organization is against the ag industry because of some of their procedures. On Friday, we talked to Faces of Ag's Trent Loos, and he accused the Humane Society of the United States of trying to remove milk, meat, and eggs from consumers' diets, as well as ending hunting as we know it. And joining us on the phone now, we have the president of HSUS, Wayne Pancelle. Hello, thank you for joining, Mr. Pancelle.
Thank you very much for having me on.
Oh, you bet. So, you called our station Friday wanting an opportunity to rebut the charges laid out by Mr. Loos on our show. First, what is your reaction to the statements that you're trying to eliminate milk, meat, and eggs from consumers' diets, which could end ag industry for so many people?
Well, it's just so completely false, and it's such over-the-top rhetoric. That's why I called, is because Mr. Loos essentially fabricated this argument. And anyone can go to our website, www.humanesociety.org, and see that while we do focus on farm animal welfare in addition to general animal cruelty, dog fighting, cockfighting, seal clubbing, puppy mills, and also run the largest network of animal care centers in the United States and provide all sorts of other direct care services, our work on farm animals is certainly very reformist-oriented. We're trying to make slaughter practices more humane, transport practices more humane, and also on the farm production practices that essentially provide a lifelong confinement for the animals. We've criticized that. So yes, we have a critique, but it's a very narrow and precise critique, and it's been validated by major corporations, by voters, and by all of the public attitude surveys done. In fact, in Nebraska, there was a statewide survey on the issue of survey of gestation crates. These are the 2-foot by 7-foot cages that breeding sows are housed in. More than 60% of Nebraska voters would favor phasing out these practices, according to a survey done by Michigan State University.
Now, you've never actually said or encouraged people to reduce their meat eating in order to save animals?
We focus our efforts on what we call refinement, and that means improving conditions for animals on the farm, also improving conditions in transport and slaughter. We have said, in this era where concerned about global warming and concerned about some of the environmental effects, that people can reduce their consumption of meat, but that represents basically a very tiny part of our overall discussion of the issue. And all of our campaigns where we actually spend resources are focused on reform-based programs to improve conditions for farmers, for farm animals, and to help small farmers who are the ones, unfortunately, who are under the gun from these more industrial-type facilities that use these inhumane practices.
What about hunting and trying to eliminate that altogether? And there have even been quotes from Associated Press saying that you saying if we could shut down all sport hunting in a moment, we would. Is that not true either? What's your reaction to that?
No, it's not true, and we have to look at the source for these. These are internet-based comments dating back to 1991, when I wasn't even employed with the Humane Society. Plus, it was said, in a much broader context, and the words were turned around and upside down. I've said it in many public forums.
You did say it in 1991?
I've said it in many public forums that were, just like on the farm animal welfare issues, we work to stop the worst abuses. We're not seeking to end all hunting.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for joining us. We are out of time, but we do appreciate your time, Mr. Pancelle. Thank you. And, of course, if you do want to take a look at the other interview that we had last week with Trent Loos, you can go to our website, nebraska.tv, and, of course, the whole thing is there for you. Now, while the snow